Hello there. It's a sad day, but Ozzy Osbourne has died. The question is that even possible? And that's the great thing about Ozzy. Um, Against all odds, he ended up being one of the greatest musicians of our time. Certainly one of the greatest voices in all of music. What else can I say about him? Storied long career, both with Black Sabbath and also as a solo artist. I'm here in the Lone Fir Cemetery because where else am I going to do this? Is a huge influence on me and most people who have an interest in metal, but he goes far beyond metal. What's great about Ozzy is sort of this the way he presented evil in a theatrical way. When asked about his favorite rock band, Frank Zappa said, "Well, it's got to be Black Sabbath, of course. They're the template that everything else is based on," and his vocals are incredibly cutting. There's a terminology in the studio world, which basically gets down to how well does the vocal print onto a recording, and he printed incredibly well. His vocals come through and cut perfectly. His intonation's really good, even though that's not always super important, especially now they're using auto-tune to correct everything, and obviously he's not perfect, and that's part of what makes him special and gives him that special sound. And there's somewhat nasal voice, but brooding, existential, and one of the things that always struck me, my favorite album of his is easily the Randy Rhoads tribute live album. The Mr. Crowley song in particular, best track. There's something operatic about it, something gothic, but also there's this performative ridiculousness that's going on, which Jack Black did very well in his recent performance by lifting up the young guitarist playing a Rhodes Flying V, kind of mimicking that great album cover. What's special about Ozzy, I think, is that he presented himself as evil incarnate, but it was also kind of as a clown. He knew it was ridiculous, that there's a theatrical aspect of it, and what he actually sang about was true evil. Songs like War Pigs, Mr. Tinker Train, everything else you want to get into with it. He'd sing about true evil while presenting a cartoon version of evil. His guitarists, every guitarist growing up wanted to be them. Certainly, he was a massive influence on me. Get this, okay, here's a fun one. This is going to be good. It's a fun one. I was an altar boy, and I thought I was going to be a priest or something like that, or at least everybody else seemed to think I was. But I couldn't. I'm taking First Communion and stuff, and I'd prefer get the communion wine ready and everything else like that. But I was hearing Crazy Train in my head, and it got me to thinking, what kind of religion is this that thinks you are doomed and punished just for hearing a particular song? Ridiculous, worthy of ridicule. And I think that's what Ozzy really presented. It was the ridiculousness of these sort of mores of good and evil versus talking about what is truly evil. Things like war, people like dope dealers, and systems of evil, which are much worse, that somehow human beings tolerate more than people with long hair. Now, I'm not a metal musician, but certainly Randy Rhoads and Tony Iommi, the guitarist he worked with, incredibly influential on me. All the musicians that he had. I loved Bob Daisley's lyrics, the Mr. Crowley thing in particular. uh, was it polemically sent. Actually, my cat, Rowley, Laura named him after Crowley because she was hearing Mr. Crowley all the time, and she was singing Mr. Crowley to him. But she started, and he makes a rowling sound, so we were like, Rowley. She'd call him Mr. Rowley. So my cat is named after Aleister Crowley because of Ozzy. He's such a sweet cat. He's nothing like Aleister Crowley. Anyways, and he really hates what Laura's also dubbed Tyrannosaurus Rex music, from like heavy metal, chunky chords. I play 7-string guitar, so mine get pretty chunky. But yeah. Anyways, very few people get to leave on their own terms the way Ozzy was able to do. And I think if anybody deserved that, it was Ozzy. And just leaving this as a final goodbye, I'm doing this from the Lone First Cemetery. I think Ozzy deserves a crypt worthy of Ozzy Osbourne. I'm certain Sharon and the rest of the world's going to make it happen. But Ozzy deserves a full-on crypt worthy of Ozzy Osbourne. Thanks. We'll miss you, Ozzy.